Our sun is moving out of Gemini. Cancer season is beginning. Uranus and Mars are conjunct. What else? We've got a lot going on in our sky this week, my friend, and this is your Sidereal Astrology forecast. Hey, 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 my friend, Danie C. Muniz, spiritual counselor and intuitive astrologer, here to help you understand and navigate what is going on in our sky, to help you move forward in your life, business, and on your healing journey. In this video, we're going to do a review of the transits that are currently happening in our sky. We're going to talk about the sun leaving Gemini, moving into Cancer, the Mars Uranus conjunction that happens on the 15th of July, as well as some other things that are happening and shaking things up. So, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's dive in because I know that you want to know all the things. So here we go. All right. As you can see here, we always begin with where is our sun? And you can see that right here, our sun is at 29 degrees Gemini. We are about to leave Gemini and enter Cancer season. So we have been on a journey. Our sun has been moving through the constellation Gemini over the past 4 weeks. And so there's been a lot of mental energy, a lot of thinking, a lot of communication, a lot of social energy that we've had over these past 4 weeks. And now we are moving into Cancer. So let's talk a little bit about Cancer. And I do want to say, that there is going to be a podcast episode released this week all about Cancer zodiac, the season, and just some things that you can, how to work with this energy during this season. So, that'll be coming out later this week on the podcast, the Cosmic Mystic podcast. So, if you did not know, there is also a podcast that has the same exact forecast, just in the audio only version that you can find here on YouTube, as well as all of your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, um, Amazon, YouTube. I'm not sure. There's a bunch of places. It's everywhere. If it's not on your platform, let me know. And I'm also going to shout out to the podcast. If you would leave a if you find it, you like it, if you're enjoying this, first off, make sure to subscribe to the channel here. We have been growing and I love it. And I'm so blessed and honored that you have found this, that you're enjoying this content. I love putting it out. So I hope you're enjoying it. But also follow the podcast. The podcast also has interviews. I also talk about other things related to astrology, spirituality, and about the matrix. So, escaping the matrix a little bit more. Let's talk about that, right? Escaping the matrix. Okay, so we've got our sun here, and it's going to move into Cancer. So, Cancer zodiac, just we'll do a quick overview here. Cancer zodiac is a water sign, and it's the water element. And so it's more focused on emotions. So we move from our head into our emotions, into our emotional body. So we are multidimensional beings. And our feelings, right? How we feel about something is what Cancer zodiac actually rules. It is ruled by the planet, the moon. And we all know that the moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days, as you'll hear in just a bit when I talk about where the moon's going to be this week. It's moving every 2 to 3 days, and it's moving through all of the zodiac signs every single month. So every 29 and a half days, it has gone through all the zodiac signs. So it's a bit of a roller coaster, right? Depending on where the sign is, it might be in an air sign, it might be in a water sign, it might move to a fire sign, might be an earth sign, and it's moving. And our emotions, right, are moving through that wave. And so one of the reasons why we do the work, right? Why we do the work is so that we can navigate those ups and downs, right? So that we don't go ballistic on our children or our partners or our community or family, right? That we learn how to have enough space to hold space for other people. So we'll be moving into that energy this week. And let me just tell you, my friend, Cancer is such a beautiful energy for connecting with the female relationships in your life, for actually even working on some of those relationships, some of the wounds around some of those relationships. So we're talking about mother wounds, daughter wounds. We might be talking about female relationship wounds. We also have ancestral work that we can do during this season as well, because this Cancer does rule our home, our roots, and our traditions. So if there's a connection to some ancestral timelines, patterns, um, curses, right? This is a great time to work through those challenges that you may have in that area of your life. So we'll talk more about that inside that Cancer episode. So stay tuned for that. Let me go ahead and share my screen again, and we can see where this is all taking place, because this is happening soon. So we move forward just a bit, and there we go. We see the sun has moved into Cancer. Now, I will say, depending on certain charts that you look at, Cancer season may start Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the chart that you're looking at. And again, depending on your specific time zone, it might be slightly different. But you can see here that on the 16th, our sun does move into Cancer. So we'll see this go all the way through. And let me just get you that date here. All the way through till August 16th. You'll see that it moves into Leo on August 17th. So let me go ahead and bring it back to here. There we go. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about what's kind of happening this week with the sun, because we do have a couple of aspects that have kind of been happening over this past week and that are also coming into play this week. So in particular, I want to talk about a couple of different things, because we have had this sun sextile Mars Uranus conjunction over here, as well as this square over here with Chiron. And we've got this trine over here with Saturn. Now, this trine over here with Saturn is going to fall off on Tuesday when the sun moves into Cancer. But over this past week, from July 5th through today, there might have been this feeling of responsibility, this determination, really wanting to set goals, and really for looking for more practical results, more practical goals, because Saturn is very practical. But it's also very much in the achievement and recognition. So you may have come across some achievement or recognition even from past work that you have done, where you're now, getting seen for that, and or more responsibility. One of the things that Saturn does tend to bring in is that feeling of responsibility. So we might have been feeling that over these past couple of weeks. Now, the other one here, the sun sextile Mars and this sextile over to Uranus. So Mars has really boosted our confidence, our vitality, our courage. It's really made us wanting to be more active, to start new things, really wanting to like kind of move forward, be very assertive or direct in what it is that we were doing. And with Uranus, it's, more unexpected surprises, new and exciting things coming your way. Creativity is really high when we've got that sun and Uranus, things thinking outside of the box, or, being curious about other people or making new discoveries. It can be really hard to stick to a routine when we've got this connection as well. Mars is very much moving forward and going forward, and Uranus likes to shake things up a bit. So let's talk really quick about this Uranus Mars conjunction here, because I think, there's a lot of, people, the astrologers out there really, really love to make things really big and dramatic, right? And I have seen a couple of posts around it, and I'm like, that's so interesting. But what I'll just tell you because I'll tell you pretty straight is we look at Mars, we look at Uranus. Okay, so Mars energy is the energy of action, of it's the warrior, it's the fighter. It's like we're gonna go through, we're gonna push through, we're gonna do this. You might think of like the warriors back in the days, right? I think of like the Roman times, right? With the Roman Empire where they're fighting for the land, which is still very similar to today, but really fighting for things, right? Fighting for causes, fighting for what they believe, right? This idea of really fighting for it and really moving things forward. Now, Uranus is all about being its own unique self, doing its own thing, having its own rhythm, and it wants to do it its own unique way. Uranus is the planet of rebellion. It literally rotates on its belly. It doesn't rotate like any of the other planets. So it's different, it's unique, and it does not care what everybody else is doing. It's going to do what it's going to do. So it brings things that are unexpected. It makes things more stimulating and exciting. It very much rules social justice and community. And so there's this really big energy of just doing things different, rebelling against whatever, right? Whatever the thing may be. And Mars really wants to move it forward. So we might find that it's inviting us to move forward in a new way. And you, my friend, have probably already been feeling this. There may be some stagnant energy, some stuck energy where you're just kind of beating yourself up and you can't seem to break through. This energy here is inviting you to do just that. It's inviting you to look at something differently. And as we are on the edge here of Gemini season, we can see like this curiosity, right? That's the word I've leaned into over these past 4 weeks is curiosity. Curious about something that I do, curious about something that somebody says, curious about social media, curious about how things are happening, like just being really curious and allowing myself not to get stuck on a position, on a side, on an idea, on a way that this is how it has to be, but allowing myself to be open and curious how it might be possible, how it might occur, how it wants to come to me, and finding new ways of doing things. And so this conjunction is really inviting you to shake things up and move forward in a new and different way, and allowing yourself to be open with that curiosity into how that might be. I think sometimes we get so stuck on how it has to come to us when our manifestation or our goals, like what it is that we are desiring, we get so stuck on how it has to be. And if we just let go of that control and we allow ourselves to be open to actually receive, that's where the ideas, that's where the opportunities, that's where it feels like magic, right? And things fall into your lap and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? So I invite you to take a look at your chart and see where this conjunction is happening for you. What house is it in? Because for each and every one of us, it's in a different house. And that is going to show us some more information and some more insights on how this conjunction might be affecting you. Now, if you're curious, you're like, I don't know how to look at that, Danie. What do I do? You can always book a Cosmic Insights reading with me. You can find that link down below where we'll go through all the transits, not just this one, but all the transits that are currently going on in your chart. And I'll tell you all the things. I'll tell you all the things. So, all right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's look at this Chiron. So this Chiron came into place on the 8th, and we're going to see this all the way still to the 21st. So Chiron is that wounded healer, right? So here, we may be wanting to bypass unresolved insecurities, especially around visibility, because we're talking about the sun here. So, especially around visibility. So, you might be at odds with some deeper deeper insecurities. So those things might be coming forward. You might be wanting to overcome your fears of insecurity or even criticism or doubt or worry, and learning humility, right? Not being distracted by the desire for recognition, but stepping into humility and understanding the lesson that is now, the lesson that is here for you, whatever that might be. I am a firm believer that healing is in layers, that there's layers to the things. It's not a one and done. I've healed that, I'm ready to move forward. Yes, we may heal that and move forward to a point where we're going to come to a new layer of potentially that same thing or something different. All right. So, a couple of new ones that are coming in this week that I want to talk about. And that is the sun is going to be trine. We can see it up here now with Neptune. Neptune is a retrograde. So Neptune is causing us to go internal, right? We've had a few of the planets now go retrograde, right? We've got Saturn and Neptune retrograde right here. So this is more of an internal focus on ourselves. So what are we looking at with this trine? So trines tend to be more positive in nature and more, they work together. The energies work together really beautifully. And so increased interest in spiritual topics, spiritual ideas, spirituality, even spiritual practices. There's a lot more imagination that tends to happen. Excuse me, creativity, really encouraging us to step on our spiritual path or return to our spiritual path. Like it's almost as if it's like we're feeling the energy of like coming back to our practices, whatever that might be for you in your spiritual path. It's like coming back to those practices that work for you, that are best for you, because there is a heightened sensitivity to vibration, to energy during this time. So it's like it's almost as if these kind of work together. It's like I'm feeling more intuitive, I'm feeling into more things are just like I'm feeling into the vibrations of other people, and it's allowing us, it's reminding us to come back to our spiritual practices, to come back to the things that ground us, that stabilize us. And so this might be something for you. There's also a lot of creativity, artistic expression that likes to come through during this connection, as well as being more charitable or offering more involvement in causes that you believe in. So I'd be mindful of your spiritual practices, just maybe even coming back to some of the basics. I think sometimes, we're trying, always looking for new things and there's things in the tried and true, right? There's things that can really support us in the basics of spiritual practices. All right. So next we have this on the 17th, I believe it is. There we go. We have this opposition with Pluto. So the sun will now be here in Cancer, and it isn't making its opposition to Pluto. So Pluto, he's our power planet. He's that personal power, energy, that strength. And so with the opposition, there could be, because we're talking about the sun, ideas in self esteem. So there could be more self-destructive behavior here. Addictions or stubbornness tend to come forward. Manipulation can definitely happen with Pluto. Those investigative skills, aka spying, aka being nosy, can also come into play here. We might even find challenges in some relationships where there is jealousy or manipulation happening. It depends on the placement of where this is for you. And I always tell my clients, like, when we're looking at certain transits and where they're happening in their charts in particular, it's going to amplify what's already there. So if your relationship has been great and it's on great terms, it's going to amplify this sense of power, like power couple energy, right? If there's been challenges or there's been stuck energy, that is going to be amplified with this challenges with this transit as well. So pay attention to whatever's happening currently, because that is some key signs of some things that you might see. Now, It's very interesting that with this Mars Uranus conjunction and also this opposition here with the Sun and Pluto, there is a tendency here for some problematic events. So, violence, destruction, disasters, natural disasters, for example, are things that can absolutely happen during these Sun and Pluto oppositions. And because we've got this, conjunction over here with Mars and Uranus still in play, I would not doubt that other things can happen. We had a very challenging incident this past weekend, and there's a lot going on around this idea of violence and hate. And I'm somebody who's going to tell you, let's bring in more love. But I can tell you that there's potential for more of this, sadly, over the next week or so, or even couple of weeks. But that Mars Uranus, when that starts to move, it's going to ease it a little bit. But right now, this is creating a lot of tension and a big bubble. So, my friend, I said this inside my Facebook group. So if you're not in there, Enlightened Soul Circles, I do Magic Monday with daily somatic breathwork practice and an oracle card pull. And in today's card we pulled was steady progress. And one of the things that it says, which I absolutely love, and I'll read it here. Actually, let me stop the share so I can share this with you. So here's the card. It says steady progress. And let me read what it says. It says, we acknowledge you. This is from the daily guidance from your angels oracle deck, by the way. So this says, we acknowledge you for the progress you've made in remembering love in your daily activities. We can clearly see the contribution you're making to the world through your thoughts, feelings, and actions of love. And I would, amp that up to say that we need more of that, right? We need more thoughts, actions, feelings of love, and that all begins here. That all begins with us. We don't change the world by going out and doing things. We change the world by starting here. We influence those around us. So if you want to make a change in your environment, you start here. You start with yourself. That is why I work with individuals, because I want to help them make the change in themselves so that they can go out and make the ripples in the families. The only way that I can impact thousands of families and see change in the world is by first starting with myself and then teaching others how to do that for themselves. And so, my friend, let's lead with love. Let's lead with love. Okay. Let's have more love in the things that we do and more love for ourselves. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Get back on here because I've got lots to share with you. We're still in the sun. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move out of the sun here. We'll move into the moon. So this week, our moon will be moving through Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. So we kick off this week with our moon in Libra. So let me go ahead and go back there. You'll see it's right here in Libra. So Libra is an air sign. So lots of ideas and thoughts and research. Quick tasks are great for this Monday. Moving into Tuesday through Thursday, the moon will be moving through Scorpio. And Scorpio is a water sign. So our sun's going to move into the water sign. Our moon's going to move into a water sign. So there's going to be lots of emotion, my friend. So I just want to bring that to your attention right now. Lots of emotion coming through this week, Tuesday through Thursday. So emotions can look like a bunch of different ways. I'm going to invite you to release and express what you need to in a healthy manner. That might look like going for a walk, working out at the gym. That might look like doing some journaling, doing some somatic breath work, somatic practices, doing some release work, doing some healing work, sitting in meditation, releasing the things, the emotions. Emotions are meant to be felt. They are information for us. They're letting us know something. And so we want to express them. We don't want to compress them. We don't want to push them down. We want to express them. We want to express them in a healthy manner. So any of the things that I just said, book a session with the healer. You can book a session with me. I'm going to be offering somatic breathwork very soon, but I do have some practice sessions available right now as I'm getting certified. So if you need a place to express, my friend, check that out. Now, coming Friday, Saturday, we move into Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. So we've got that emotional energy that has been built up or building up all week. And now Sagittarius wants to go and have some fun, wants to go and go on an adventure, wants to like shake it off and move forward, which is really beautiful because we've got that end of the week push there to just move forward. Our energy is to move forward and expand. And then on Sunday, it's time to get back to work because we're coming in with Capricorn, who is that energy of responsibility. It's like, let's get things done. Let's get the house in order. Let's get ourselves in order as we prepare to enter the next week. So beautiful energy this week, my friend. Make sure that you are following the moon and you are expressing as needed. All right, let's move on to Mars. So we did talk about the Mars-Uranus conjunction, but I do want to talk because Mars did into Taurus on the 12th and will be in Taurus until the 27th. Now, Mars is softer, let's just say, in Taurus. So when it was in Aries, it was at home and it was in its full vibration, full expression. Now it's in Taurus. Taurus is a much more grounded sign. It's stop and smell the roses type energy. Mars does not like this. Mars doesn't want to slow down. He wants to go. He wants to move forward. But the beauty of this is Mars is here to help stabilize things. He's here in Taurus to give us this period of time to stabilize things. Taurus rules our money. It rules our resources. It rules the tangible material things in our life. It rules over our values. And so Mars is here to really get us motivated and excited and determined about our values, about what we believe in, about our security, right? In the resources that we have and how we're using those resources. So we've got this really good opportunity over the next month and a half to really create that foundation for ourselves. Now, a couple of other things that we have going on is the Mars is sextile Neptune over here. That takes place on the 12th and goes through the 28th. So pretty much till the end of this month. And we've also got this trine. Hold on, I just lost my screen. This trine over here to Pluto, as well as on the 16th, we'll have this square over here to Mercury. So let's talk about those three really quick. So Mars sextile Neptune is there's again, Neptune is very much that spiritual energy. It's also very more romantic type energy. And so this is where some of that romantic energy might be coming through. There might be this attraction to people that are more in alignment with you on a spiritual level. There's more sensitivity to others, to other people. We're more empathic here, and a desire to like be of service to them, to help other people. So this is healing energy. This is soothing energy. It's very sensual type energy. So we tend to see much less conflict here with Mars, and so it is again. This is kind of tapering some of that energy, but Pluto is very strong. It's very, very strong. So I do want to say it. So I would say follow your creative passions, follow your spiritual truths, really step into those spiritual practices that are going to serve you. Now, let's look at the Mars in Pluto, Mars trine Pluto. You know, this is more goal directed type energy. It's more ambitious energy, more assertive, but more of a harmonious play here, because we do have the trine. A trine tends to be more harmonious and beneficial to all players. So this is encouraging cooperation and, highlighting leadership energy and potential, advancing and moving through any challenging situations with ease, right? There's really this really nice, I can move through things, I can get through things type energy here. Now, the last one with Mars square Mercury, this one can be a little bit more challenging because it is a square, and squares tend to be a little bit more challenging. Again, nothing is positive or negative. It's just how we're perceiving it or how we're working with that energy. So this can lead us to make more rush decisions because Mars is impatient. It doesn't like to wait. And Mercury is pretty fast moving. So here we might find rush thinking or aggressive thinking, right? Where we're making rush decisions, jumping to conclusions, being a little bit more aggressive in our communication, and potentially causing conflict. So be mindful of that over these next couple of weeks with this Mars square Mercury, because communication can be really challenging during this period here. Another thing is you might have some difficulty with concentration, because again, these are fast moving energy. So if you're needing to like use that energy to get up and to do something, to think something through, to make a decision on something, great. If you're needing more patience, it might be a little bit harder. Plus, with that influence over there to Neptune, making things a little bit hazy, it can be a little bit convoluted there. All right, let's look at Venus, because we've got some things happening. Actually, let's look at Mercury, and then we've got a couple of things happening with Venus that I want to share with you. So, Mercury, again, is our communication. I do want to share a couple of things with you that we do see with Mercury here. So, Mercury will be changing signs. It will be moving into Leo shortly. So, we'll talk more about Mercury in Leo next week. But this week, we see the trine over here to Chiron, and then we see the square over here to the Mercury and Uranus conjunction, which I just talked a bit about with Mars. So let's talk about this trine. So again, Chiron is, it's the wounded healer. So anytime we see a transit or an aspect with Chiron, we're going to know that this is going to involve wounds. It's going to be probably most our past wounds, right? Our traumas. And so because we're talking about Mercury and how we're communicating and how we're thinking, this is an opportunity for our wounds and our traumas to be an important part of our message, of our story, of what it is that we do, right? I was just applying to be on a podcast, and one of the things I wrote in there was my story, was part of my past wounds and past trauma that I've worked through. I've done a lot of work around and healing around that I share now, and is part of who I am and part of my message, and why I even started my own business and started helping other people in the way that I do. So, right, it's that idea of being able to take that mess right into your message. You've probably heard this. So you can share about the things that you're working on, working through as you are healing that trauma, or you're healing those wounds, or you're identifying the growth that you've had, right? And sharing this with others. There's so much value in us sharing our unique stories and our unique perspectives on our past experiences, whatever it might be. Now, I'm always going to say you're going to share that message from a healed place, not a scar, right? Not when it's still exposed, not when we're still dealing with it, but when we've come to a place where we can look back and we have a different relationship with it, where it doesn't trigger us, right? That's when we can share. And so this is an opportunity maybe to look at some of the things that are going on in your life that you might be able to share. All right. Now, last but not least, let's talk about Venus, because we've got a couple of things here with Venus that I do want to share. So, Venus right here in Cancer. Now, Venus has she's had this opposition over here. So that is going to end this week. So we started this last week, and it's coming to a close here on the 17th. And we will also have this sextile over here with Jupiter that came in on the 16th. So let's talk about the Pluto and then we'll talk about Jupiter. So Venus in opposition here to Pluto, this one right here, this can bring tension in relationships. This can be this can cause feelings of suspicion, of jealousy, possessiveness. This could be some relationship drama. There could also be some power plays because again we're talking about Pluto. So I would I would say again, whatever is present in the relationship is going to be amplified whenever we're talking about these transits. So if you're dating, be mindful of some manipulation, of some drama here, of some power plays here, right? Of obsession or compulsion, right? Compulsive actions can also, or addictions can also be prevalent with Pluto. Pluto rules over addictions. So we might see like getting addicted or obsessive about something. So maybe it's something your partner did or something somebody did, and you're just obsessing over that, good or bad, right? Good or bad. Nothing is good or bad, but good or bad, depending on our perspective, we could be obsessing over how great this thing is that they did and missing everything else that they're doing. Or we might be focusing on this one bad thing that they did and missing all the positive things that they've been doing. So again, my friend, this can go either way. So just be careful of this one indeed, because control issues can definitely come up, which can cause some issues in relationships. And I say relationships, and we tend to see more intimate relationships like your partner, your spouse, somebody that you might be dating during these Venus transits, but it can also be other relationships. So keep that in mind as well, especially female relationships. Now, let's talk about this sextile over here to Jupiter, because a sextile is always a good time. And we're talking about Jupiter here. This takes place on the 16th and goes till the 26th. Jupiter is that planet of growth and expansion. It's optimistic. It's that love and it's partying. It's making love. It's all the things warm and happy inside. It's that good luck. It's this generosity, really good for socializing, looking your best, feeling your best, being your best. Friendships come really easy during this time, and there can be a tendency towards excess. So pay attention to that. Might be excess in any number of things in your life. All right, my friend, this has been your Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of July 15th through the 21st. I hope you have enjoyed this forecast. I was going to say, what is this called? I hope you've enjoyed this forecast. Remember to subscribe to the channel to get more insights on sidereal astrology, as well as the podcast, and hear all about Cancer and Cancer zodiac season that's coming up this week, all over on the Cosmic Mystic podcast. My friend, has been my absolute pleasure being with you today. Let me know what you're excited about or your thoughts on today's sidereal astrology forecast. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take a deep breath with me. Let it go. And find peace.